Ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, welcome back to Valpo Esports League of Legends GLEC. I'm your host, Dikembe. I'm here with my co-host.
Henry, Speedy Killer Ninja.
And I mean, it's a bit of a special matchup today for you, Henry, because we
Yeah.
have Valpo versus UMU, your alma mater. I mean, just going into this game, what do you think you're looking for here from this team?
So I've had this one circled on the calendar the entire year.
Yep.
I'm really excited because I was a League of Legends player. I played League of Legends at Mount Union for 4 years, alongside a lot of these players for most of my years too. So I'm really fired up for today. One thing to watch out for Mount Union is definitely their bot lane. Convicted historically has been a very good player for them. Their highest ranked player going into today. They did lose, arguably their best player last year. So having,
Yeah, yeah. You want to tell
no,
the cast who that
so
is?
no, hey, I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah, okay.
um, but I mean, going into the day, I think they're 3-4, 2-5. So I think we're a little bit favored, but we only have 2 games left in the Great Lakes Esports Conference. With that qualification for land kind of looming over us, where we really want to win these next 2 games to secure our spot. So I'm fired up today because we're playing our alma mater.
Yep.
It's a really big game for playoff qualification. So even though it's a Monday, I woke up like excited, juiced up, ready to go.
No, I mean we're fired up in the booth here, right? It's kind of like that stars align thing. You have
Yeah.
an important playoff date, and you have an important team that we're facing today. Sadly, Mount Union is standing in the way of us actually
Yeah, I
going in
mean,
person. So,
unfortunately, we might have to take them down today.
hmm
So,
so I mean it's rough, but I think for Valpo at least looking up, it's a pretty good matchup here.
yeah,
I'd assume especially like when we're talking meta and comp wise, I think Valpo is definitely a lot more favored. As these certain patches have started to roll out, game is focusing a lot more on scaling, and I feel like
yeah,
that fits a lot of our comps, right? We run with a
yeah.
heavy scaler mid lane, usually go with like a Maokai, something in the jungle that works late game. So I mean, you can talk to me about Mount Union. How do you kind of deal with a scaling comp as Mount Union?
So Mount Union, they pretty much play around their bot lane. Their best 2 players are their bot and support. Um, Historically and throughout this season, they've kind of won through their bot lane or getting ahead and carrying games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, like a Kaisa, Vayne, their mid laner roaming down, jungler looking for that because they kind of play that late game scaly pick. Maybe
Hmm.
something like that Jinx, like we saw, as we will be hopping into draft here. Um, but yeah, I really think they're going to be looking to scale up that ADC and have some like protection and peel for him throughout the game. So
Oh, for sure. I mean, I remember if we're talking like scaling comp, obviously there's the Jinx that we talked about. Sivir is a really underrated pick right now, especially we've seen a Sivir and Valpo before kind of just shred through because Valpo likes to go that kind of heavy CC comp, that
yeah,
heavy CC late game kind of like really quick cooldown comp. So having that extra spell shield, having that extra movement speed, kind of spacing around Valpo's comp is kind of the most important. But I mean, looks like they're not going to get that chance because Caitlyn and Kaisa are banned out
yeah.
for
I'm
Mount Union.
I'm gonna guess like a Jinx first pick here for Valpo. Oh
Yep.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But that Thresh is kind of pick or play. I'm not
Hmm.
sure if David's in as support or Eamon right now.
He
Um,
is.
okay,
Yep.
but their support is very similar to ours. It's very similar to David in the fact that he has a Thresh and that's kind of his best champion. And this Garen, KT the Creeper, is a Garen OTP player. Um,
All right. All right.
Last
Sweet.
year, he pretty much exclusively played Garen. He was on the JV team when I was at Mount Union.
Hmm.
But I think every single ranked game he played Garen. I think this year he's expanded a little bit more. But the Garen is definitely a comfort pick for him. And with this patch with Hullbreaker still being strong, Garen being strong, that's it's finally kind of in meta where we've seen it picked at Worlds for the first time. It's finally
Yep.
kind of come into the competitive realm a little bit. So I'm get the Nautilus as well.
Thank you, BDS Adam. But no, I mean now taking up Mount Union, you have the Garen pick, you have the Nautilus pick as well. Already going to pretty heavy like tankiness, right? Already gonna have a couple of people that Valpo's gonna have to shred through. So gonna pick up the Malphite as an R2 just to counter that Garen.
I
Uh,
really like the Malphite not only for the armor, but having that ultimate on the ADC, getting like secure like CC lockdown, able to dive that back line. So I really like that pick.
Definitely. So now, I mean, we know that Anaya loves to play Malphite as well. One of her
Yeah,
definitely best picks too. So if this is an answer into Garen, I'm not as well versed in the top lane counter picks or matchups or anything, but if this is the pick she wants to take in the Garen, I think it's a really good look here. But
yeah,
now Valpo going to pick up the Alistar as a counter to that Nautilus, get a little bit of counter engage, be able to just step up in front, kind of take a little bit more prio with Jinx especially. Um, and when we're talking tanks, right? If you're gonna match tank for tank, Alistar ult, nobody else does it better, right?
yeah.
Like get that 60% damage reduction here. But I mean, Mount Union now probably gonna be looking for a ADC or jungle pick. Okay,
Zaya.
picking up Zaya. I mean, you can
Yeah.
tell me about convicted Zaya. What do you
Um,
think here?
So he's played the Zaya a decent amount. I think the reason for the Zaya pick is to have that ultimate for some self peel, especially against that Malphite and that Alistair who kind of have this like hard CC engage where they can really target focus if they need to. So I think the Zaya is definitely a good pick up here, and like it might not be quite as hyper scaly as maybe like the Kaisa, the Jinx. But when Kaisa hits or when Zaya hits 3 items, she'll still be able to provide the DPS needed in a team fight late game.
Oh, definitely. And I think the nice thing is that although Jinx buffs were absolutely insane, right?
Yeah.
That's mainly mid to late game when team fights start happening. In this early game, especially pairing with a Nautilus, you want someone that can fight really early. You want someone that can
Yeah.
kind of put the pressure on Jinx, make sure that our farm isn't just as clean as normal. So Xayah Nautilus definitely a good combo to go with. We have a couple of chats going down here. Looks like there was a missed ban on Valpo's side. Thorin it's might be just an all mid lane ban from both sides here. Mount Union banning out Nico and Cass, and then Valpo banning out Silas as well. But we can't see who that second ban was. But I mean, we'll just take a guess here. But Mount Union picking up Elise as the first pick jungle. I don't think Valpo has played into Elise, um, at least in this series.
I'm very surprised to see this Elise. This jungler player from Mount Union, new jungler, obviously, with me sitting in this chair. But a very like difficult champion to execute well. And being that their jungler is kind of a lower ranked player and plays some ADC and ranked and stuff, I was very surprised. I was expecting to see like an Amumu, Rammus, something that doesn't take as quite much execution and can be effective without all the mechanics and stuff. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I don't think it's a great pick, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, no, definitely a mechanically dense champion, right? When we're talking
Yeah,
about that, especially like trying to position for team fights and such. But Valpo Esports a really, really solid comp here. I mean, we talked about okay, Mount Union drafts a couple of tanks early. You have to be careful. So Valpo immediately drafts 3 tanks, right? You have 3 tanks and 2 permascalers, which it's Valpo's MO at this point. We draft nobody that can win early game. there's nobody that can fight Mount Union right now early game, especially with Mount Union's Vlad, Zaya, Nautilus, Garen, um, even Elise to an extent. I think Sejuani has to at least hit 3 or 4 before she can really try and face check that Elise. But I mean, you're the jungler here. You gotta tell me how this matchup looks.
we have an insane front line, arguably too tanky and not enough damage. I would have preferred to see maybe a J4. I don't know. I feel like we're lacking in the damage department a little bit, especially until Jinx hits that like 2 3 items, and Syndra takes a while to scale up as well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we have an insane front line.
Yep.
And Elise not really able to do much tank shred. Vladimir doesn't do a whole lot of tank shred. Zaya will probably have like a Lord Doms and Kraken and be able to get these tanks eventually, but it's probably going to be a while.
Yep. And I think I mean like you said, right, obviously lacking in the damage department a little bit. I think Valpo's biggest danger point in this game is going to be that first and second dragon. Because that's when Vlad is around hitting, level 6, level 9, around that kind of range. One of his strongest spikes when he gets that level 5 Q. Um, and then probably around first item as well. You just don't have much agency in these fights, especially without Malphite engage. It's going to be a little bit tough for Valpo to try and contest a lot of these early objectives, but I mean, after that Jinx 2 items and how much peel and how much like CC you have for Jinx, not only to mention you also have permascaling Syndra. Um, Valpo is gonna be sitting pretty after that third dragon.
Yeah, I think the lane to look at early to mid game will definitely be mid lane for Valpo. Vladimir, before she gets pulled, before she hits level 6, she doesn't really have a whole lot of. She's very vulnerable in lane, especially before the pull.
Yep.
So I'd maybe like to see a 3 camp into mid lane, try and get that Syndra ahead. Not sure if they'll have enough damage to have kill pressure on that, but I think that's your best bet for ganking a lane as um, maybe if Garen gets a little overextended too.
Yep.
But I think mid lane's probably the way to go if I'm the jungler for Valpo. And for Elise, I mean, I'm literally only looking at bot lane. Even bringing that Vladimir down there with Pool, we'll be able to look for some dives on our bot lane
Hmm.
because Elise can drop turret aggro, Vladimir can drop turret aggro, and that's really kind of where they're going to want to be playing um, based off of how they've been playing on the past and kind of where their skill and experience lies is in that ADC.
Yep. No, it's definitely going to be a really, really strong, at least bot lane pressure, coming from side of Mount Union. But I think we're going to predict a little bit of vector struggles here, especially taking that Sejuani. You're going to be grasping for straws because uh, you have two really strong snowball champions on the side of Mount Union. You have Elise and you have Vladimir. People that literally in like their recommended build path is going to be Magi's, right? Like
Yeah,
it's it's very crucial for these champions to get kills early. So it's going to be on Vector. Not so much it's going to be tough to play a proactive game into lanes that probably won't have as much prio, but you can at least play that counter gank. You can at least play that angle coming from bushes, but we are going to just finish up this draft here, and we're probably going to take a slight break as we go into spectator delay. But we will catch you guys at the start of this game one of Valpo versus Mount Union. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, to the game of Valpo versus UMU League of Legends. I'm gonna take a look at the runes, take a look at the summoner spells, see what's going on here. Everything seems pretty normal. Only big change I think we see is that we do have Grasp Malphite instead of the Arcane Comet that we usually see in Iatek, which I like in this matchup, right? Because especially with Garen having that passive regen, just having so much sustain in lane, especially going that resolve tree secondary, it's important to at least try and match that, right? Because that's kind of how Garen plays in this early game is that he's much more forgiving taking really early trades, because
Yeah.
then he just heals it right back. It's gonna be a little bit rough, but I mean we're seeing here. You got to talk to me. Is this a normal invade for you and you? 'Cause you and you look for this a lot of the times.
Yeah, I might have been the person to start this shenanigans invade. I'm a huge fan of invading.
But we do have an early ping for Valpo. Looks like they are just gonna back it
Yeah,
off. They
we'll
might.
get we'll get spotted out here on the
Yep.
ward.
Although you have to be careful. Shadow Spark is still hovering that area. There's a Q from Nautilus. Not gonna be able to hit though, as nobody is in that bush.
Yeah, smart by Valpo. Vector able to get that deep vision on the red buff to see where their jungler's starting. Oftentimes you get fake leashes, both bot lane and top lane showing up at the same time. So nice to have that ward to confirm where they're starting. So we have the Dark Harvest from Elise with the damage orb jungle item. So excited to see how that goes. It's kind of feast or famine. So
Yep. I mean, I think that's how UMU is gonna play this whole early game. Is that it's just gonna be feast or famine because I mean, you have Vlad and you have Elise. So.
yep. And then Garen with Phase Rush and Ignite is also pretty bold.
Oh,
So
geez,
I
yeah.
usually see Conquer from Garen, but that Phase Rush giving him that extra move speed to chase champions down. And
Hmm.
then last thing of note is Malphite with that Doran's ring, going for a little extra poke early game.
Yep. No, I mean, no matter even if you take Grasp or not, you just get so much out of having that Q. Getting silenced out of it too. Gonna be able to finish off that trade. But we're seeing now Grasp is kind of how that lane is just gonna have to go. Now in this bot side as well, Alistar, they're fighting for level 2. Gonna see who gets it first here. That's a good trade for Garen. And Naya's gonna have to play this early game pretty safe. Both teams hit level 2 at the exact same time. And there's a hook in as well. A knock up. Holding on to the W though, looking to see if he needs to knock away anyone. And there's a big trade back for Dreadful in the top or bot lane. But level 2 hit for Anaya in this top lane,
Oh,
taking a huge trade with the grasp. KT going down pretty low there. And there's another hook in this bot lane. We're just having action after action. Nautilus immediately gets that root in. Jinx gonna look to try and trade back here.
oh, and we see Elise 3 camping going bot lane. Probably looking for a dive here, although Jinx is pretty healthy, Alistar's very tanky, and we have Sejuani down there too. So if they go for the dive here, extremely risky. I do not think it will work.
They're looking to flip this game right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, we're seeing a couple of trades here, but there's Elise in that bush. I
Oh,
mean,
there's
Vector is gonna jump to his Krugs and
something
you'll see a
spicy is
couple of
about
pings.
to happen
Yeah,
in the bot lane.
couple of pings are going down. I think Valpo's trying to sniff it out right now. Here comes Vector as well. Looking in, Elise from the side. He gets hooked in, gets rooted as well. Alistar tries to jump in, not going to be able to hit though. Elise jumps up in the air. The Ignite goes off of Vector, but it's not going to pick up a kill. It is still a huge trade for UMU though, giving them
Yeah,
that advantage.
that was very sneaky.
Hmm.
Um, Only slight concern is Elise is down 2 camps now, but will most likely pick up bot and top scuttle to kind of even that out, but is looking mid right now.
You did blow both sums out of Vector. Also, noticing that he renamed himself to Flying Oysters Vector. You are not on Flying Oysters. You are not on that team. But honestly, I respect it. I respect it. I love it. No, bro, thinking part of the team. I just noticed that. All right, awesome. We love it. We love it, Vector.
So
Thank you.
Nautilus getting some deep vision on Valpo's
Oh.
red side, looking for a gank mid, but Syndra has just reset.
Yep. So,
So-
not gonna be able to pick up anything. Vladimir's gonna be able to farm this wave out a little bit. Gonna have a shove in though, so Syndra should take at least the CS advantage here, especially with that cannon going in first. And like you said, Elise did lose a little bit camp wise and at least like momentum wise, but so did Vector, right? Vector blowing
Yeah.
flash. You lost the ignite on the side of Nautilus, so you lost a little bit of lane pressure, especially because Alistar all full sums on bot side. Um, so at least now you have that early trade, get up that CS lead. Now just don't throw it away.
Naya so far doing a great job in this top lane. That Dorn's ring has provided a lot of extra poke that we've seen.
Hmm.
Um,
No, yeah, in a matchup that definitely Malphite needs a couple of levels on him, right? Needs a couple of
yeah.
levels, maybe like first item, first component to really start out trading this Garen here. Definitely playing this well, especially working with that grass. There's the spin with the Garen as well. You have to be careful. There's that phase rush trying to extend the trade, but the Q is going to follow him out there.
We
Gonna
see
finish it
Elise
off.
coming top too, but Malphite just going to finish off that wave and crash it. Hopefully, won't play up for a plate here, as it could be very risky.
And
Um,
Valpo on the bot side is in a really bad spot, but we see top side Elise is there. Does miss the cocoon though, not going to be able to stun. Naya's just going to walk back in bot side here, getting a little bit of pressure. They are pushed off this wave here, although it is stacking. You are still down a pretty good number of creeps on Valpo's side.
Yeah, other big thing for the bot lane here is Dreadful has not had a back or a buy yet, so still on that Dorn's Blade versus the attack speed item and longsword.
Yep.
Res curve bow, however you say it. But oh,
Recurve, yep.
Anaya's level 6 right now
Oh
before
yeah,
Garen's
Naya
5.
could finish it off here. You still do
Oh,
have ult, but
yeah,
not going to go for it.
yeah. I think it would have been super close if she ulted there, but probably opted to shove this wave, get a Q, and then an ult. Might be
Yep.
able to do the trick. So we see Elise just back from top side too. So
Especially still sitting on flash as well. If you need to flash out of that, you have it. Garen not on 6. You have to make a play before he hits that 6 though. There's
oh
the 6 though. So she gets stuck in a bad spot, waiting for those cooldowns to come back up. You gotta calculate. Make sure you have enough mana to make this play here.
yeah,
Oh,
Valpo
it
going
looks
for
like, yeah.
Dragon here. Pretty
I
good
think,
vision setup. Looks like they're going to concede it with Elise starting to back off.
honestly, rough thing is though, I mean, if you wanted to fight this, you are down an item, right, in this bot side.
Yeah,
You're down an item and a lot of CS here, so I think
I think
it's
this
not the
one Mount
worst
Union
thing.
maybe wanted to contest.
Yeah, especially with the comp that you're running now. Giving a lot of these early Drakes just makes it much harder to secure those late ones,
Yeah.
especially in a team comp like Valpo.
So at 7 minutes, we see the gold dead even, 10k apiece. But a dragon for Valpo, kind of edging them, have a slight advantage. So CS pretty even across the board. A little bit of advantage for Valpo in the mid lane. Mount Union slightly up in the bot lane and top lane. And jungle favor to Valpo.
Yep. And now we're seeing this top side as well. Wave pushing back into Anaya. Anaya picking up the first item. Mana and armor. Literally perfect for this matchup right now. And now she's going to be able to freeze this wave up here. Garen's going to take this time, go get a couple of fruits. Try and get this wave shove in, especially being up in CS right now. You have a little bit more pressure. Taking a couple of shots. There's the silence. There's the phase rush spin as well. But the grass proc and taking a tower shot as well. Anaya might be able to just solo kill here. Looking for the ult. There's the knockup
Oh,
and there's
yeah.
the W. First blood going to Anaya in top lane. A little bit of a
Solo
miscalculation.
Bolo.
Yeah, actual solo bolo in that top side.
We got a Rift Herald coming up too.
Yep. It is huge for Vector. I mean, you have Syndra up on CS here, although Nautilus does get the roam off first. Alistar is stuck clearing a little bit of vision in the spot side, but they're going to look to try and make a play on Xayah. Xayah is level 6 though. Going to be a little bit rough. Probably just going to have to try and dodge this ult, but knowing Jinx is so far away, not going to blow it. Just going to hit that Alistar back for a little bit. And there's Mount Union now rotating up for this first Rift Herald. And I did take the back here. I think Valpo is just going to have to give this. I mean, a couple of pings going off, but you just don't have the numbers.
Yeah. I think Valpo here, you want to look to shove mid and kind of zone this ADC off this wave. You don't really want the ADC to have the opportunity to farm when there's 4 people topside.
Yep, and there's the shots. I mean,
Yep,
Convicted
the ult
taking
out.
a couple of side
Ult
steps, and
and
there's the ult and
flash.
flash.
So a lot of resources used for the ADC to get out there. Definitely going to want to look for a gank for Sejuani to get down there while those sums are still down.
Rough thing is now, I mean, you do give up a lot of pressure in this bot side. You're going to equalize it, right? Although you get this first Rift Herald, you're losing a lot of CS at mid. You do give your solo XP to that ADC, though, at least. So, Mount Union, definitely a better trade. Obviously, taking first Rift Herald. Gonna have a little bit of tower pressure, but Valpo at least not letting that go. And, excuse me, not letting that slide.
Nautilus returning back to the bot lane as we see Elise kind of roaming around. Elise has not been farming a lot of camps as of late, but still hanging in there in the CS department, only down 20. But Elise, you know, with that Dark Harvest and with her item pathing, like, you really want to get ahead early game and snowball off that. So being behind early is definitely not ideal for a carried jungle champ like that.
Yep. I mean, she's probably going to try and farm this out. The pool coming out from Vladimir there, trying to dodge that true damage from that W. Actually, not yet. She doesn't have the evolution yet, but still, just dodging that damage. But like you were talking about, Elise has to start looking for something now, and I think bot side is definitely your best answer, as we do have a scrap in this top
Gotta
side.
be careful.
And I
Your
has to be
Garen
careful.
ult.
Yep. Might
Ignite
be
is
looking to
down.
outplay this. There's the jump in as well, and
Oh
the
wow!
W. Anaya getting the
Oh,
second solo kill of the game. Definitely, I mean, creating that
that was
space,
close.
and that's just watching that is knowing, Anaya has her limits on that champion, knowing the damage that you have, knowing how to back out, just zone back in, definitely kind of showing the comfort there.
Also very familiar with Garen too. She
Yep,
also loves playing that Garen.
definitely.
Um,
So nothing is new to her in this top side.
yeah,
But I mean, that is a huge lead for Valpo, at least taking this top. And we
yeah,
check the gold here. I mean, you are up almost 1,000 gold right now on this
yeah.
Garen, especially with that turret plating now. It's going to be really tough for Garen to try and lane this here with any type of prio.
So every lane for Valpo up across the board. The biggest discrepancies are in that top lane, a little bit in the mid, and jungle and ADC with a slight lead as well.
Yep. I
So
mean, we have Vector in the spot side as well, but here comes Elise. Elise does have a Rift, probably going to look for a play here. Vector just going to dash through. Nautilus waiting on the dash and being able to hook. There's the ult up as well, trying to catch out, and that's a ton of damage. First kill on UMU side going to this Elise. Nautilus does flash here, trying to get the auto in, but the passive stack just not being up yet. There's the Rift Hail drop, trying to just clear this wave, and now Valpo's in a really bad spot here. They might get dove.
yeah, a
I
couple
mean, you
plays
have
coming.
Elise up. There's the
Ooh,
knock up as well. Looking for something. Nautilus hook goes a little bit
gotta be
wide.
careful.
A ton of damage. At least does use the E though to try and get out. There's
Oh,
the ignite.
this could end
Not gonna
poorly
do it.
for Mount Union.
Has too much damage going out. The ignite going, trying to knock back into the turret. The pullback. Not gonna take any damage. Nolan now respawned and back in this fight. There's an auto. Gonna get this one. There's the stun off too. Gonna look for maybe the bump. At least walking around the side as well. This top side we haven't engaged too. It looks like Valpo will just try to back off there as the dive is successful for UMU. Really, really rough looking dive. But I mean, it does work out.
Yeah, that
And
was.
there's the
that was
ult under
very
tower
close.
as well. The shot and the flash, although the ignite goes off from Garen, it's not going to do much. That's the third solo kill for Anaya in this top lane.
Yeah, I think Jakimbo too might have had the opportunity to TP down. Oh wait, no, you don't have unleashed teleports yet. Never mind.
Yep, not
Oh
yet.
wait, no, maybe to the turret though. The bot lane turret. Yeah.
Well, no, you do have it.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
you do have TP, but maybe a missed opportunity there. But did get a
Yeah.
couple plates mid with Vlad roaming down and having to reset without TP.
It's although you are losing a little bit of prior there are no kills on this Xayah yet. And
Yeah.
the only kills are on Nautilus and Elise. Elise does suck, but you are denying this Vlad at least from a lot of damage, right?
Yeah.
You're denying this Vlad from a lot of gold from taking those tower plates, exerting your at least pressure right now. Secures that he just won't snowball as hard going into this mid game here.
Yeah. So we see the gold lead shortening to 1K. Most of that coming from the plates in the bot lane, along with those two kills. As we see
Syndra
Nautilus
has to
looking
be
here mid
careful
lane.
Here comes
Syndra's
Nautilus.
pretty far
Looking
up.
for just the solo kill, but
Oh.
there's the flash as well. Really rough. I mean, Jakimbo made the decision, but here comes Garen. Garen might be looking for
Garen
something. There it is. Yeah, the Avengers are coming. Does not get the W off though. Just gonna ult. Gonna try and get that heal, and the heal is gonna be enough. KT picking up the kill on Jakimbo.
So Jakimbo with flash down, feeling like he was trying to trade the kill on the Vladimir. Didn't feel like he had a chance to get out there with the Nautilus there, the Elise and the Garen.
Yep.
Um,
Just rough. I mean, definitely playing super aggressive there, but just you don't have the vision to back that up. So a little bit of just a miscalculation on Jakimbo's side, and that is going to give at least one kill back to this Garen in this top side, although you are losing out on a ton of CS. I mean, now it's up to Valpo, right? To kind of play the rest of this smart. I mean, UMU is looking for a ton of scrappy plays, trying to stop them from backing this Jinx, but I think Alistar will trade kill.
oh,
The
you
ult
gotta
goes up
pop
really
ult
late
earlier.
there, yeah. I guess just miscalculating the limits there. I mean, if you honestly, the way he was playing, I thought ult wasn't up. You gotta pop way earlier there, but they are gonna just get a free kill here. Nautilus still picking up the kill though. Zaya
Awesome.
going killless, but that is going to be first tower for UMU. That is 450 gold straight into the pocket of Zaya. So Nautilus didn't take the gold off that one. At least that one went to Zaya.
Yeah. But Mount Union evening out the gold and taking the first gold lead of the game. With this dragon coming up, looks like they might be on it, or at least picking it out a little bit. But
Yep.
with Valpo up by the Rift Herald, yeah, they're taking it. So Valpo trading the Rift Herald for the dragon. So
Yeah, no, I mean, now you see him bot side. This is kind of what we were talking about, where Vector's just having a pretty rough time with actually picking up any kind of gank, any kind of like prio, but because of how shoved up your lanes are, you are going to take the second Rift Herald and drop it topside immediately. Garen be forced to take this back, Anaya chunking her out just enough so that you have a ton of pressure, although you're going to lose this probably mid turret to Zaya again. That is a really strong Zaya, and there's a ton of damage going out as well. He is going to flash the ult though. Does get the Q off, but it's not going to be enough damage as the heal from Zaya. There's the Shadow. Excuse me, there's the Zanya's, but it's not going to be enough. They are still pushing this top side, though. You have to be careful. Garen is, like, trying to 1v9 this. The flash out, he will stay alive. But they're going to lose so much tower here. And here comes Jinx. I think Mount Union has to be really worried here. You got to stop this Jinx or else she might just take an inhibitor. I know she's level 9, but passive is insane. If the Garen had died there, I think they do lose tier 3 just because of Jinx passive.
yeah,
And I mean, Valpo's still ending up on the backside of the gold lead there, but opening up so much topside that I don't think Anaya has to really return to that lane much now.
yeah.
You can definitely put your pressure a lot more on the side of the rest of the Valpo's team, because other than Anaya, Valpo's really struggling right now. I think we just have a couple of miscalculated plays, a couple of just bad rotations, and it's really costing Valpo, at least in this early to mid game.
Yeah, making some uncharacteristic plays. We saw Jakim on the first death with more unfortunate than anything, but the second one not really ready for that Nautilus shield and allowing Zaya to kind of just free hit him. The Alistair ult like we talked about, and Jinx, I forget. Probably died in that bot lane dive.
Yep.
But Mount Union with a slight gold advantage still, pretty much even though. As we'll take a look at the gold here. Nautilus with about a 1k gold lead on the sport. Was curious how that was going.
Yep.
Convicted for Mount Union with that 1k gold lead in the bot lane. And Valpo up across the rest of the map except for jungle too. Jungle about even. But Anaya definitely has a massive gold lead on the side of Valpo. So.
Yep. And there's an engage as well. The quick ult from Convicted being able to stop that Alistar knock up. The root coming out, but there's the ult from Alistar. Gonna be able to flash out here, staying alive. There's the ult earlier. That's what I'm talking about.
Sejuani kind of stuck
Sejuani,
though
yeah.
with Garen flanking.
You have to be careful.
Do have
might
the
get
Malphite
dash
coming
off the
in,
wall.
though.
There it is. Malphite's still there. Maybe looking for a play,
Yeah,
but there's a
Syndra
hook in
rotated
on
in.
the Jinx. Has to ult back, but the Nautilus are interrupts. There's the ult on the backline as well. Flashes away, gets the kill on Zaya. Although Elise is in there, gets the kill, but that's 4 for the side of Valpo.
Wow, Valpo with a huge, much-needed victory in that fight there. We saw Malphite with a big ultimate on Convicted.
Giant ult. I mean, we're talking about it, right? They took that fight early. Alistar, right, great on Shadow Spark, forcing the ult out of Convicted early, and then immediately collapsing. Although, obviously, you didn't start the fight how you wanted to, you still at least recognize, no Zaya R, we can jump on her now. You jump on her now, you get that play going. And that is going to be 2 towers for the side of Valpo, and that's going to be the gold lead right back in their direction. That's 3k gold right there, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about being even on gold like 2 seconds ago, but right off that play, 3k, and that's a huge swing in the favor of Valpo. Let's just make sure Nolan doesn't give it away.
Yeah,
here.
doesn't get caught
Please.
here.
Hey,
Oh,
okay.
gets
You
it.
win the smite and dash out. That's what we're talking about. That's my Flying Oysters player.
Gotta
That's
love
my
the
hero
little
right
victories.
there. We love you, Vector. My favorite team, Flying Oysters. All hail.
So we got an Ocean Soul this game. Dragon coming up in about a minute. So we see both teams getting vision and position around there. I'm starting to think maybe I overemphasized this game for Valpo today because I've been talking about it so much and so excited for it. But I'm glad to see that fight maybe help them with a little confidence, shake this little funk off. As we've like we talked about earlier, we've seen a couple uncharacteristic plays in the early game.
Yep.
But hopefully we're done doing that, and looks like we're back to getting some good vision in the bot river as we see Vlad rotating down to mid. Both teams really looking to fight this here.
I
So.
mean, like, we talk about athletes and how, like, certain things are apparent. Oh, never mind.
Oh, big
We
pick.
haven't engaged here in this jungle. Elise does be able to jump out of it. There's the Nautilus ult on Jinx in the backline, but Jakimbo does able to push back a ton
Vlad
of
flashing
damage.
in on the back.
Yep, and Vlad's just going to look for the pick on Jinx. Jinx staying in there. The ult going up,
Oh,
but it's
great
not going to be
peel.
enough damage. Anaya just almost a global taunt here, trying to just pull 3 players of UMU off.
Yeah.
And that's just a huge fight, and that's going to be for third dragon here.
So huge pick on the Elise there, slightly out of position, had great vision, and then Anaya able to zone off their entire team while we were able to focus on this Vladimir who was flanking on Dreadful. So very well executed by Valpo, and I think that you can attribute that success to them being in great position, having that vision, having river control, finding a pick, and taking a fight off of it.
Yep. I mean, we talk about, like I was saying before, we talk about athletes with, like, certain key defining features, right? We talk about AI with the braids, Marshawn Lynch with the Skittles, right? Michael Jordan playing with the float.
I'm wondering where you're going with this, but yeah.
We have Valpo's team comps after 20 minutes where we actually do something. It's great. It's awesome. So, I mean, that 20-minute mark hits, we start winning these fights, and now Valpo's going to start swinging this lead in their favor, 5K.
Yeah. I think it was last week on Monday we had an NECC game where we were so excited to see Valpo have like an early game lead and like take over the game in the early game because it's kind of a rare sight to see.
Yep. No, I mean, it's definitely fun. And look how fast Garen is spinning.
Anaya is
Huge
so
cocoon over the wall
tanky.
there. But yeah, Anaya is so far ahead.
Tanky. It has
2
the ult if
armor
she
items
needs it.
and merc treads as well.
Doesn't even
Just
need
gotta
the ult.
walk away.
Give him the thumbs up.
There's the thumbs up and the smash on the ground, but that's a huge engage in this bot side as well. Getting the evolution too. The E is now evolved.
Oh,
There's the
solo,
ult just
bolo.
executed that Vladimir there. Gonna go up on this gold too, but now you have 4 topside. You have to be careful. And there's Anaya walking in too, at least taking a couple of damage. There's a
Great
huge
ult.
ult as well. And there's the Alistar following up. Dreadful picks up 1, and here comes Jinx. Jinx gonna be able to almost pick up 2. There's the double kill. Gonna speed him up, but it's
Get
not
started
even
on this
worth
Baron
it.
here.
Just start up the Baron using passive. Yep, Syndra's gonna go hunt out that Xayah and look for the rest of the team. Really, really great layering from Valpo. I mean, this is what we're talking about now. You have Anaya taking her lead, really just so clutch this game. Taking that lead, being able to ult that Elise, find that opening, and then Shadow Spark following it up immediately right after, then the Jinx route as well. I mean, it's exactly what you want to see out of Valpo's comp right now.
Yeah, so Anaya on the Malphite finding that knock up on 2, and then Alistair just immediately knocking them right back up, not able to do anything, and gets the Baron here as Valpo extends their lead to 8K, or probably 7K, and has that slight drag advantage too. So.
Yep. No, I mean, now we're really seeing Valpo clicking, right? Kind of shook off those like first 10-minute game shutters.
This is the Valpo that we're used to seeing here this past 10 minutes. So the top and mid turrets already gone. Saw a couple pings on that bot inner turret, so looks like they'll be heading that way.
And I mean, now you're looking to play for towers, right? Obviously, you took so much topside. You don't need to really return much there. You do have Syndra Jinx in the spot, though. Maybe looking for a pick on Garen. I mean, if you can get the Jinx speeding and accelerating now,
Got Alistair behind
that's going to be
too.
so much damage. And there's the kill to Jinx, and they're going to try and speed this wave tower and just keep this Jinx passive up. I mean, that's kind of the plan with Valpo right now. Xayah's going to try and catch this, but I really don't think it's smart for her to even step up here. Alistar getting rooted, not going to be able to W, but there's the WQ as well. Followed up by the Syndra, and then Dreadful hitting the W, finishing it off there. Excuse me, hitting the ult.
Said Naya walking over with ultimate.
Yeah, and Naya
flashes.
ults it, but a great reaction flash from UMU. And now they're going to try and take this tower. You have to be careful. If Dreadful takes this tower, you have to run. Vlad's or at least looking on the side, but gets caught out by Jakimbo. There's a kill, and here's the tower, and here comes Jinx. Vladimir looking for something. There's the ult, but gets stunned before the ult can go off. Pool going down. There's the W from Dreadful. Anaya's just walking under double tower. There's the stun, but she goes down. Yeah, you can't take that much right now. Yeah, getting a little bit greedy, but Jinx passive. I think we're going to watch her end the game right now. There's this first tower. Almost going to get this second one. They're going to be backed off a little bit there. There's the stun, the ult from Garen. Garen does pick up the kill on Alistar. You still do have Jinx playing a little bit. Dreadful is not ready to end this fight, but I think he's just going to have to back this up.
I think the safe play is back up here.
Yeah. After Anaya goes down, you lost a lot of your front line. Vector.
If Anaya doesn't, walk under both of those Nexus turrets, maybe we close out the game there. She's feeling so good. She probably would have walked in the fountain if she needed to.
Yeah, honestly, I can see the Malphite ult just diving straight in.
Anaya has completely hard carried this game.
Yep.
So I can see where the confidence is coming from, and I love it. But probably not the best idea.
Yeah, definitely.
If there is one way for a Fed Malphite to die, it is going to be diving 2 turrets at once.
No,
so we see Valpo with them. Looks like uncontested dragon here.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect UMU to contest this, but I mean, this game is kind of the perfect example of, although the scoreboard, you might have people over you, you're definitely like the MVP of this game. Anaya has been killing it. Without those early fights, without that early lead and then target priority on the side of, like, taking down the Xayah, taking down the Elise, Jinx and Syndra just don't have the lead they do now. So definitely, game was in the hands of Anaya and handled extremely well. So now we're going to see Valpo. Although you lost that Baron, you have so much pressure in this bot side. You have one Nexus turret down that you have kind of free reign on these objectives now.
Yeah, I think even though you see the Jinx 7-1 and 3, there's a different story to how we got there. Yep. And it was the great engage by Anaya. Sejuani having a couple good ults, one there in the enemy's base. Alistar doing a great job, not only with the engages, but also peeling as well.
Yep.
But Dreadful just doing his job. That's his job, is to spit out damage, throw out that DPS, and get those kills. So.
Yep. I mean, we talked about Anaya a lot this game, but like you said, Vector, although, like we predicted, having a rough early game into this comp, definitely playing extremely strong. And there's a knockback over the wall. Bye-bye, Elise. just don't show up. But although we talked about... Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I keep getting interrupted. I see, like, damage when it pans up there. Syndra damage now starting to get out of control. But we see rough early game, right? Not much that you can get. But these team fights is really where Vector shines. I think it's his best thing by far. And now being able to follow up here, especially with Shadow Spark with Anaya. And there's the dash in as well. The Hanada's hook misses, but the Anaya ult comes in as well. A giant stun as well. There's a couple of shots. Anaya's going to pick up one. Sejuani's picking up second. Dreadful picks up the third. There's Xayah. Xayah ult goes up, but it's not going to keep her alive for long. There's the flash dash in from Vector. Vector's just tanking this turret, and that's a triple kill for Jinx. That's going to be a team wipe, and that is game 1 for Valpo. Clean game. At least, post 15 minutes. We're talking about that early game. Early game, extremely rough for Valpo's side.
I was not too pleased with the first 10 minutes for Valpo. So.
Yeah. No, but UMU looking really, really good in that start. Kind of worrying us here up in the booth a little bit. But, I mean, Valpo coming in that first dragon fight that Anaya rotates down. Really, it was a mid fight, but first fight that Anaya rotates down to brings her lead to the rest of the team. Lets the rest of the team handle it. I mean, saw a really, really strong second half of that game.
Yeah, as displeased as I was with the first 10 minutes, I was equally as pleased with the second 15 minutes. Was really excited to see an eye on that Malphite. Jakimbo, I think, could definitely bounce back and have a better game next game, as he kind of just had a couple unfortunate, not fully calculated plays. But he did end up having the most damage in the game, of course, somehow still stacking up with that Syndra and having a lot of impact in the late game. Vector also having a lot of impact. So great job across the board. Definitely a team win there. Anaya with a little bit of the carry pants on for the to get us started off.
Definitely.
but yeah, man, this is really a full circle moment for me. You know, six months ago, I was on that score sheet for Mount Union.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm glad we took game one. But
Yeah,
it's best of three series, so yeah.
as sad as it to see your alma mater lose, it is
Oh, I
even
am.
better to see your current team win.
I am. I if Mount Union wins the series, I will not hear the end of it. I
Yeah,
really want Valpo to win.
I
I have.
respect that.
I
I
have
respect that.
completely switched sides. Before the stream, I called myself Darth Vader. I
Okay,
switched to the
yeah,
dark side.
makes
Well,
sense.
actually,
Makes
no.
sense.
Valpo, we call ourselves the beacon, the light. So I mean, realistically, I was on the dark side and then came over
Mm,
to Valpo. Um,
I'm trying to think like character-wise who that would be.
yeah.
I mean, if we're talking deep lore, there's always Darth Revan, but I mean, that's just all the way out there. I'm not even gonna get into that. But no, we are going to take a slight break here in the booth
Yep.
as we catch you guys at the start of Game 2 of this Valpo versus Mount Union. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and MBs, for the draft of Game 2 for Valpo versus Mountain Union. I mean, bans on Valpo's side should be pretty, pretty like the same, but Mountain Union definitely. I think you either ban the Malphite or ban Jinx. Um, I don't think you can let any of those go through, especially because Valpo's not gonna ban Garen. Valpo, if they want you to play Garen again, they're gonna let you play Garen again. Um, which I mean, you're just gonna take Malphite, but Mount Union, uh, not banning Garen, instead banning the Talia first draft. Which I mean, you're gonna leave Valpo blue side to pick Jinx again. I guess Mount Union just thinks they can take a different comp, or maybe just like got skill diff last game. So hey, run it back. They're gonna take the Sejuani. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
I like that a little bit better from Mount Union's jungle. A little bit easier execution. Has like very straightforward engage, straightforward plan what to do. As that Elise kind of got behind early and didn't have much impact in the game.
Yep.
Curious what they decide to do from ADC side. Is the Zaya never really got a chance to be that impactful. We saw them use a lot of resources towards that bot lane, especially in the dive,
Hmm.
but never really got ahead. As we saw the Nautilus leave lane a decent amount to look mid, look for that Rift Herald. Um, as I think they only had a couple kills, not too much damage. So curious to see if like we get an Aphelios, a Vayne, something that can be a little more effective in that like 20 minutes plus.
Yeah, but I mean, now Valpo, Sejuani picked away and Maokai banned. Now I think you have to go for that J4.
Yeah,
Um, you kind of need that option, but into Sejuani, I mean, you can tell me about that matchup, but what do you kind of want to look for right now? Yeah, there's
I,
a
I like the
J4.
J4. Yeah,
Yeah.
100% agree on that one. The Alistair I like a lot. I think the early game could have been played a lot better. The ult timings could have been done a lot better. But I think eventually, once they got to like that team fighting phase, they were very good on peeling and engage.
Yep.
So,
And there's
and
the
we do see the
Vayne.
Vayne. Um, I'm so surprised we didn't see the Vayne when we had like three full tanks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what changed between game one and game two. Um,
I mean,
but like Vayne would have been a perfect pick last game, and is very strong into this Alistair, and if we decide to go tank top laner as well. So
mhm. This is what baffles me though, is it's Mount Union obviously keeping the same bands, right? No changes. The only change really is that obviously you pick up Vayne and you take the Sejuani away. So you're taking a tank away. You ban the Malphite away, so you're taking another like heavy armor tank away, but you're picking Vayne still. And Valpo drafting kind of like really similar bot lane and even having all those misplays, right? That's stuff you can correct. So Mount Union kind of gave Valpo the same bot lane, gave them a higher agency jungler, and now is going into this draft. At least they did ban the Malphite though.
gets the Shen for the extra protection on the Vayne.
All right.
I like that pick a lot. So, but yeah, I think Mount Union has a very similar game plan going in this game, but a little bit more carry ADC. So maybe they're just feeling like, if I'm Mount Union, maybe they felt good about their game plan. They just felt like maybe that mid fight, if it goes a different way, we had a bad start to that mid fight and we are able to turn
Mhm.
it around. But that was really what kind of snowballed the rest of the game. So maybe they felt confident with how the early game went. As we see, like similar bands, pretty similar picks.
Mhm.
And Valpo, we won the game. We're sticking to our guns and getting essentially a very
And
similar team comp. And
I
I
was about
love
to
to see the
say, yeah,
Renekton.
I was about to say this is such a Renekton angle. It's
I
insane.
love the Renekton.
Not only is Shen pretty weak right now, right? You can bully him out of that lane.
We don't do the
Oh,
Renekton.
come on.
So
Come on, switch
in
back.
our
Don't
in
take
our
that
last
Ollie.
series on Saturday,
All right, screw it.
um,
Let's go.
that you casted with me against ONU, we saw Steamroller support player on that Renekton and saw how effective it was.
Hmm.
And we've been talking to Anaya, trying to get her to play this Renekton, but gets the Alawi split pusher. So fair
Yep.
enough. If she doesn't feel, she might have not gotten a lot of games in on Renekton, doesn't feel
Hmm.
comfortable pulling out a new champ in a game. And towards the
Yeah,
end of the season, that's understandable. Um,
definitely.
but
No, I.
I was gonna say if Shen decides to use this ultimate bot lane, especially if he goes ignite or something, Alawi with Hullbreaker could absolutely like be a
Yeah, so
crazy
that
split
top lane.
pusher.
Yep.
Something that
No,
needs to be addressed. So
really, really nice thing is that Alawi's E with Shen ult immediately slows Shen right out of his ult. So his
yes,
his
yeah,
taunt doesn't reach the max range you're used to. So it's actually kind of a weird interest or a weird thing. But just to be clear, although I'm disappointed we didn't pick the Renekton, I would much rather have an Iona champ she's comfortable with. I'm cool with the Alawi. I
yeah.
think, like you said, you have a lot of split pushing potential. The Shen is obviously going to have to take TP, especially into a lane like this. Um, it's going to be up to Anaya to, again, take a ton of agency, not only just pre 6, but at least after like first turret to kind of become a menace for this team because if Mount Union allows Shen to rotate here, you have quick rotations, right? You have Shen, you have the Vex ult coming down. You kind of have these snap engages that Mount Union can really excel at here. And Valpo has to be careful for those, especially because we saw those snap engages were really the reason that Valpo got costed last round. Just a couple of misplays, a couple of errors, and Mount Union just being way more decisive off that stop, or excuse me, off that top half, um, made it really rough for Valpo to play that early.
Some input from the chat here on the draft. I think they do like the Alawi. They feel like Shen does hard counter the Renekton.
Hmm.
So maybe just another reason not to pick the Renekton.
Huh.
But we were so pumped up about it Saturday. I think we were just excited to see it hovered.
Yeah,
So
makes sense. I mean, thinking about it,
eh,
right? Obviously, you have the Shen W to block Renekton W. Q is really hard to trade out. You have that shield as well to just to out
yeah.
trade. It makes sense. I can see that. But
I we also haven't seen a whole lot of Alawi either. But
yep.
I'm more comfortable with this pick. Slightly
Hmm.
less excited about the pick.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No. I know you weren't here last year, Henry, but I will give you a little bit of lore on Valpo Esports. I think Anaya's first starting game on varsity was Alawi,
okay.
and she had this insane 1v4 play in jungle that like is forever cemented in my mind, especially as a caster. Being able to cast that moment was fun. But that will forever be one of my like favorite moments from her. So definitely not mad at the Alawi pick here. Um, just obviously I'm a big fan of Renekton, so
Yeah.
uh, hey, maybe the chatter's right here. Maybe that is a hard matchup for Renekton, so I will take his word
Yeah, I have
for it
no
here,
clue.
and I
Yeah.
will be completely okay with the Alawi. Definitely, I'm not afraid to admit my mistakes here in the booth. But no, I mean, any final words, especially looking at Mount Union's draft, right? Are you are you comfortable with seeing Mount Union on these champs? What do you think so far?
So I think Mount Union's win con is just the vein. So I think
Hmm.
that's where they're dumping all their resources. I think that's exactly why they picked the Shen is for that ultimate. Um, that's why they have this peel. That's why they have the engage. It's kind of all on the vein.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of their win con, and Valpo just gonna need to play their game, do their thing, and I feel pretty confident going into this game after that draft. So
No, I mean, hey, we honestly, I have no more words for this. We just gotta see how this plays out because once we take a look at the runes and summoners when this game pops off, we'll really get it going. But we are gonna take a quick break in the booth as the spectator delay goes off, and we'll catch you guys at the start of game two. And we are back, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs, to game two of Valpo Esports versus Mount Union. I mean, we're going to take a look at the runes, take a look at the summoner spell, see what's going on here. Um, really big, interesting thing, I think, is that, number one, you have the Conqueror on Alawi, which is not like a weird thing or anything, just like it's either Conqueror or Grasp. Um, and then mid lane, Absence of Mind taking the Dark Harvest instead of the usual Electrocute. Um, which I
Mount
kind of,
Union looking for an invade again.
yep, a couple of pings off, going for that ward there, sees it.
S-
Ward will go down though, and they are going to get that deep, but
yeah.
obviously Valpo going to trade with a deep
Yep.
ward of their own. Look for maybe a Q to get this first strike proc off. Have to be careful though. I mean, Vex E is really good into this early, um, just as this like matchup goes. But that's why I'm a little bit confused with the Dark Harvest because you have a lot more lane prio taking this Vex pick into Syndra. But now that you have Dark Harvest, you kind of lose that.
Yeah.
You're not running Electrocute, so
I feel like Mount Union definitely could have killed the Alistair there, or at least
yeah.
forced out a flash. Because if you, I'm not sure if he was in hook range, but if you flash hook and you have the auto attack and you have Shen taunt, like
hmm Especially because you're running Glaciate, you have the secondary rune of
Vex has taunt
yeah,
too.
you have Flesh Traption. You definitely can at least make a play there, but I guess they just weren't comfortable with it.
Maybe they flash or flash, and Alistair has Hex Flash and Nautilus doesn't, and that's
Yeah,
Nautilus. I don't know.
but I mean, we did see the Nautilus with Hex Flash. Who knows?
Oh,
It's all what ifs at this point, as we do have the first hook in this spot lane. Uh, Valpo taking a lot of pressure though. UMU just kind of backing up, not being comfortable here. And that's going to be a perfect
Valpo will
CS
hit
there
level
for
2
Valpo.
first here.
Yep. After this minion here, I mean, you got to start walking. There's the level 2, and here you go. I'm going to try and walk up. You do have the WQ. There's the Nautilus hook, but it is going to go wide now as Valpo just going to push this wave back in. And now we see in this top lane as well, kind of Shen pick. So I know we were talking about the chatter and the interaction with Renekton. I I agree with you on how the matchup goes. I will disagree with you. I will say Shen is not strong right now. I'm sorry. Shen is just not good right now. I know I love Shen too, but he does not feel good right now in comparison to a lot of tanks as we're seeing here. Anaya does get the E out as well, hits level 3 too. Gonna pull out and do a lot of damage from like 50 feet away. And that's Alawi Gaming. But no, it's alright. We can agree to disagree here. I am happy though to get your input at least. That does make me does it is fun in the booth.
Got another chatter liking Dark Harvest in the mid lane.
Really? Wow. Oh dude, I am
they do
0
not,
for 2
They do
right
not
now.
like your takes.
Honestly. Hey, I respect it.
But we got both junglers full clearing here. I think that's more advisable by Mount Union. Um, So interesting to see both games. Mount Union has path top lane and Valpo has path bot lane, which I was kind of expecting it to be the opposite. This ward will spot out J4 though. So we'll get stunned.
Half health though.
Oh, this is not great.
Just walking in. That's gonna be first blood to Vayne.
So they got the ward in the tri-brush and it expired. Like the vision expired where they couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And Vayne just being aware of where the J4 was going to be and pathing, and Nautilus with a great follow-up on the stun, able to flash Q.
I mean, I think we just chalked that up to miscommunication there, because Valpo's bot lane's got to know that Vayne is missing, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't see Vayne on map there, you can't have half health J4 just walking into that bot side jungle.
Yeah. And Sejuani was able to place some deep vision in that jungle spot, now J4 again. But not ideal. Vayne with the first kill and with double buffs, very not ideal.
Yep. And I mean, we're seeing now this Alawi. Honestly, I wasn't too familiar with this matchup, but you have to be careful. Sejuani is pathing top here. Anaya is going to have to just walk back. Looks like Sejuani will only exert a little bit of pressure, soak a little bit of XP, but not really get much off there. As you do have Jakimbo in this mid lane, getting those stacks off. But no, I mean, Valpo again, not really playing this early game as well as we want them to. At least with that first kill, but
I think it was just kind of one medium mistake that, it is a mistake, but it's a small mistake, but it can be a big issue. But other than that, it's been a pretty mild game so far.
I think I'm just like, I might be just overreacting a little bit based
Well, we
of that
talked
first
about
game that we had.
Mount Union's win con as being that vein, so the first blood going over to them with the double buffs is
Yep.
kind of just
The double
why
buffs
the
being
reaction
killer
is
here.
there.
But now, I mean, we're seeing allowing this topside Anaya. Um, Honestly, okay. At first, I didn't like the Alawi pick. I didn't really know much about the matchup, but I will say, unbiased, I'm very happy to see Anaya back on the Alawi. This is a comfort watch for me here in the booth. It's good to see her, pilot this champion. It's
I
always so fun to watch.
I on the other hand have not seen us play
Yep.
Alawi
Oh,
since
you're
I've been here. So
you're in for a treat then. Give it 15 minutes and we'll just take the spectator and just hit one and just watch just camera lock on Alawi.
Alawi ults when you have like their whole team there get very exciting though, I will
Yep.
say.
And we're definitely going to see that a couple of times, I feel, this game. But we do see Vex taking a little bit of vision in this bot side river. You have to be careful, Vex at 6. Obviously, you have the rotation down. Um, Although you are a little bit low health in this bot lane, Dreadful is, took that first back. Vayne going to have a much stronger back, though. So, kind of have to really be careful here.
So we see Mount Union with some good deep vision on the Raptors and in that tri-brush, and earlier in the game in that top side and Valpo's blue side. And one of the main talking points we had on Saturday against Ohio Northern, who we ended up losing to, was that vision allowed them to make so many like decisions and plays based off the information it gave them. So we do see some of these wards getting cleared out, but I really do want to see Valpo, having some more aggressive vision and also doing a better job of having those pink wards and sweepers, because being able to track the jungler is just so tough. So
Yep. No, I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Obviously, here in casting booth, really only get the directed camera on fights, trades,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But during all of those, we have supports walking in jungle, getting deep vision, at least setting up their team. And I mean, speaking of setting up, that will be first dragon for Valpo.
Yeah, Valpo again though, I will admit doing a great job of setting up vision in the river and taking river prio and taking that first drag. I love to see it every time. So
Yep.
Valpo kind of a more dragon oriented team playing around that dragon. While it seems like Mount Union, at least in game one, was rotating some players up for that first Rift Herald. So curious to see after they shove in this wave if Nautilus will be walking up there, looking in mid lane, and then rotating that Rift Herald that will be spawning pretty soon here.
I got a pet peeve in this bot side though. They are playing against this Vayne and they are hovering this top wall. They're begging to get condemned. Honestly, I'm really worried for Valpo's bot side here. But they are a level down, so they have to play this a little bit carefully. Also, I mean, 15 CS down. Vayne obviously having that early lead. You have to give something. Definitely not, not too big of an issue. Nautilus hook going wide there, so they are going to sidestep left. Do you have 6 on Jinx? Jinx is going to walk up. The Vayne is still low, and that's a huge chip as well. Nautilus is going to walk up to block that W, but Vayne has to be really careful. The ult coming from Jinx. There's the ult, and it's going to fly right. Not going to hit that.
I'm surprised that Alistair started walking away. So Valpo has this vision set up, able to see in Pixel Brush and that ward that just expired by their blue buff.
And there's the flash out of mid lane as well as J4 comes in after that stun from Syndra. Trying to just get anything out of this lane. Honestly, both jungles have just been struggling a little bit here to find anything in these lanes.
I feel like I've been a little bit picky today just because I really want to win. But Valpo is doing a good job.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just being nitpicky.
Definitely, no.
Also, when there's not much going on, only one kill at 9.
And there's the old mid lane as well. The flash is in the E as well. Not going to be able to get the fear out. The ult coming as well. Justin probably going to go 1-for-1 there. Trying to get the shot, but the flash. That's going to be 2 flashes.
Right.
Ult, 4 flash and kill on Jakimbo. I mean, that's honestly best case scenario. You have 3 rotations that side. You have Vex ult hitting. And there's a weird engage here, but you do see Alawi's coming down. Yep, there's
Shen,
the Shen
Shen ult,
TP.
yeah.
Looking for the flash taunt, but it misses. Alistar going back, gets the knockup as well.
Re-engage
And Valpo might be
opportunity.
able to trade this.
Syndra's
There's the
TP in the
ult.
mid lane.
Ult from Sejuani and Nautilus going to try and stop them, but Shen gets knocked up as well. They're just autoing him down. There's the knockup from Alistar too. The Jinx ult flies wide, hits the Nautilus, but Vector's going to pick up the first kill on Shen.
Yeah, definitely a Rift Herald play here too. Alright, looks like they're starting it up.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
now-
we saw the Shen use that ultimate and then flash and miss the taunt, allowing Valpo to have a re-engage opportunity there, and Syndra TPing in for the extra insurance.
Yep.
As both ADCs kind of just farming down here, playing safe. As looks like Sejuani might be looking for a steal,
Oh, and
and
he
he misses the
smited
smite.
early.
Oh,
Oh my
whew.
goodness.
Valpo able to
Oh,
pick it up.
that's my
Wow,
that's my flying oysters player right there.
wow, flying oysters.
Definitely perfectly calculated.
Vector giving us a little scare there. Wow.
You know,
You should
if he
always be precise with those smites,
yeah,
even if you
if
think they're not there.
if he was a real flying oysters player, he wouldn't have smited it. He would have just lost. I'm very happy, but we do have an engage in the spot side as well. The hook going in on Jinx. Jinx E going out. Vayne ult going out as well. Trying to just both kite, but he cancels another knock into tower. And a
Oh,
huge trade. Goes 1-for-1, but the Vayne gets the kill, and
yeah. So
Alistar picks it up.
Alistair throws in that last auto attack after the turret shot comes through
Yeah.
and gets the kill on Alistair. Because I think Jinx threw an auto in there after the W.
Yep.
So not ideal, but
I guess just a little bit worried about not having enough damage there, which is understandable. I mean,
yeah.
you have such a fast move speed on Vayne. She's only taken one tower shot. So, um, otherwise, I mean, overall pretty well played, right? Obviously, you had a cancel auto on the side of Dreadful that slowed him down a little bit there, but that's so nitpicky it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's honestly, that's the best case scenario. You have both ults popped on both sides.
Yeah, I think Vayne with the already completed Kraken though, I think it was completed and then she just picked up the boots and the dagger,
Yep.
but not an ideal fight to take, but doesn't go horribly. So
Yep. Going out 1-for-1, but I mean, you still need a kill on Jinx at least, so going to be watching a little bit as you do have Ward here, and that's going to be a quick engage as well. Alistar getting hooked up. I have to be careful. Here comes J4 maybe over the wall. Looks like they won't go for it.
So we are completely tied up in gold, and as we look at the character gold
Ooh,
differential
Shen has to
here,
be careful here.
I'm
I mean,
surprised Shen
Anaya's
is still
gonna take
staying in lane here.
Yep. Anaya's just going to do so much damage there. Shen is not going to break that. As there's the Rift Herald as well, trying to hook it. Gets the eye out, but the charge will go off as well. That's 250 gold in the pocket. Vex has to come down, though. Vex ult is still alive. Vex ult hits, gets the flea off on both
Syndra's here
Alistar.
though.
But yeah, here comes Syndra. The hook in from Alistar. Alistar ult goes out, and there's a huge push. Vector picks up one. Sejuani ults the Syndra, but it's not going to amount to much. Syndra still gets the evolution. She's going to walk it down now.
J4
Vex
still has
for a
ult
lot
here.
of damage. Here comes Jinx as well. Jinx is going to get that shot. The flashing from Vector in the ult. That's going to reset Jinx, and here comes Jinx down the side. They don't have Vayne in that fight. So that is huge for Valpo. And Anaya on this top side, while that 4-man went down on the bot side, almost killing the Shen on the tower.
So Shen has ultimate, but not able to use it being so
Yep.
low.
I mean, you ult right there as Shen, that's suicide. Because Alawi's just going to walk up and kill.
And he I don't know
Oh,
why
there's
he's
the
still
taunt under
staying.
tower as well. Gonna get two
Okay.
tower shots and really trade that back. Gonna look for the W grass proc though. Excuse me, not grass proc, the Conqueror procs. Get a little bit of healing back. And now, I mean, Alawi has to be careful though. You can't get too greedy here. You're gonna probably clear this wave and look for maybe a back. Still sitting at around the 20 CS lead.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get a break in the action here. Okay, so Vayne with that 1k gold lead in the bot lane. Jakimbo 1.2 in the mid.
Oh,
Jungle with a
a
massive
snipe
lead.
pull. Excuse me, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and then top lane with 500. So Valpo with about a 1 to 2k gold advantage on the mid lane, jungle, and top. So
Yep. No, and there's another pull. Jeez, Anaya just cannot miss this game. This is fun to watch. And now Valpo gonna have a lot more health in this bot side. Although you are down item. You're up prio at least, and probably gonna take this back. You are down, you know, like 22 CS, right? 24 CS.
yeah.
So definitely a rough game, a little bit of a drought in the spot side. Gonna look for the stun, not gonna be able to hit it, but here comes
careful
Vexel
here.
as well. This might have been a miscalculation on the side of Jakimbo. Jakimbo gets flashed on, and the
gets stopwatch.
Zanya's quickly, but has to get the E off. There's the flea and the shot, but it
Oh,
misses.
it missed
The
by-
Leandri's kill.
Okay.
Going with the Leandri's kill. Jeez, just another just a really aggressive step up and die. After getting chipped out like that, right? Obviously, stun not missing. Blow a lot of your resources there, and Syndra really doesn't have anything but flash. Not gonna flash the Vexel either. I think you just flash the Vexel. It's out there.
With
But I mean,
Jakimo's
hindsight
flash is
2020.
down.
Well, no, he flashed that last fight.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
after
Yeah.
Vexel hit. Um, no, but I mean, hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
Obviously, game speed is a lot different. So
It's easier for us to sit back here and watch
exactly.
and see what they're doing wrong rather than
Yeah.
when you're playing. So,
I sip my tea and I sit
especially
here and
when we can see the mini map and see
yeah.
the other team.
And there's a nice timed fear on the side of Vex stopping
Yeah.
that knock. And here comes 3 on the side. Oh, Dreadful walks back up and the flash from Nautilus is going to hook in. And that's going to be a kill, although it does go to Nautilus. And hey, I mean, we're seeing this Dark Harvest now pop off a little bit, get a couple of procs there.
Convicted cannot be happy with all the kills that Noble Dirk is
Yeah.
getting.
No, I think they're definitely going to have a talk with each other after
Yeah.
this game. No, but I mean, again, Valpo kind of just not having that map awareness, that map, right?
Yeah.
Walking up there, greeting for that kind of last, like, wave shot. But
I mean,
at least we do get this wave topside. Nautilus hook does miss off the conviction. Excuse me, not the conviction. Conviction's that. The condemn. Conviction, condemn. You gotta cut me slack on mixing that one up. That's at least normal.
yeah, but this kind of lack of map awareness is really from, UMU's boss side looking
There's
like a
the flash
Christmas
as well.
tree.
The ult from Sejuani, the pullout, and client is going to freeze. Give us a little bit of time to watch this Alawi ult. 3-man Alawi ult. Here it is. Gonna get the shot off, forcing Sejuani to flash out. Sejuani is still really slow. Alistar gonna look to follow up. The knock up on Shen, making sure he can't dash back and taunt. There's the taunt on Alawi though. Alawi gets the pull off, and that's gonna be a lot of damage. Looking for just some kind of shot. Gonna take his shot, and that's a ton of damage. Although you do have 5 in this top side,
We'll
they are
retreat
gonna
for
lose
this Rift
trade.
trade.
Yeah, I mean this is a 5v5 top side. This is awesome. I'm happy to see Valpo actually rotating. So now, right, you have Shen low. Sejuani's gonna take this back, but this Rift Herald is pretty much yours. And there's the smite as well. That's gonna be first and second Rift Herald to Valpo, and that is kind of the tower taking pressure that they need, especially because they're going to force more people to rotate to a lane that Rift Herald's in, put a lot of pressure off Anaya, who already has taken first tower, and hasn't let Shen get to their tower yet. I mean, Anaya is just playing insanely well this series, giving Valpo kind of that leeway and that room to, have these couple minor mistakes, have these couple of, slips and mishaps. But now, I mean, we're seeing here trying to push this wave. Going to get this charge on Rift Herald here.
Oh,
and a
huge stun.
3-man stun from Syndra. That's going to be... Oh, my goodness. Wait, that's like 3 stacks straight
That's
in the
a lot
bank.
of stacks.
Yeah. No, and we're seeing now the rotation. That's a lot of damage. There's the Syndra as well. The knockup from Alistar pushing him out of the Syndra W. But J4 just jumps in the back line. There's another double stun as well. The W hitting. Looking for the ult. The ult goes off. Dreadful's going to pick up the kill on Nautilus. J4 is going to pick up the kill on Sejuani. And now they're just chasing. Vayne is forced to back up. And Valpo now going for the second drag. What did I say? Valpo at 20 minutes. We wake up. It's awesome.
So we see Shen with ultimate staying in that top lane and Alawi actually on the dragon. I would expect kind of the flip. Shen being down here and Alawi be split pushing.
No, but now, I mean, Anaya has just been playing so well this series that there's really no way for KT to get out of that lane. It's just been insane. And now, obviously, Anaya... I will proudly say Anaya is one of the few top laners that will actually use their lead for the rest of the team and play that well. I'm very proud to say we have that kind of top laner on our team.
I don't do that when I play top lane. So.
I don't do that when I play mid lane. I don't think we just spread lead at all. So it's fun to watch that, in action, watch that really take hold. I think that's been the defining thing of this series here.
Yeah, but Valpo picking up that soul point, another Ocean Soul. I think this J4 for Vector has just been so much more influential than that Sejuani. I mean, the Sejuani did well post 20 minutes, but this J4 has actually had, a very big impact in the early game.
I mean, knowing Vector, knowing Flying Oysters Vector, he's definitely got to be riding the high right now. As you do have the heart seal on this top side, Shen, but you already are down a lot of gold.
Heartsteel after 20 minutes doesn't usually do too well because, it takes a while to get these stacks going.
Yeah, and there's the shot as well. And this is just an extended trade. You know you have Vayne in
See
this
Vane
top side,
coming
though.
up though.
Gonna try and bait this fight. Although Anaya does have vision. There's the ghost out from Vayne. Maybe looking
Watch
for
the
an ult.
wall.
Gonna have to be in this. Vayne looking for an E, but dashes back to the side. There's the pull to convert, but it's not going to hit. There's the ult as well. Going to dash up. You do have 3 in this top side here, and this stun as well. It's not going to hit. Trying to get this kill. Nautilus trying to get the solo, but the healing's too much. Shadow Spark's going to finish off Convicted. Here comes Syndra from the right side with the J4 ult. Picks up a double kill. Nautilus is not going to be able to get any kills. Anaya is backing out, and that's going to be a triple kill for Syndra.
And the Baron.
That's that kind of like 1v9 nature that I was talking about
Yeah.
earlier, where she just is impossible to kill. Especially, I mean, Vayne popping Ghost here. We have a little bit of a client bug. Excuse us, folks, here. As we
We're
get
back.
back into it. Yep, there's the Baron. That's kind of that nature we were talking about with Anaya and Alawi, where it's just impossible to kill her sometimes. And honestly, amazing work on the side of Valpo as well, being able to know that that fight will extend and actually rotate, right? A lot of the times it feels like, oh, okay, they're just dead right now, right? Oh, they're just dead. But Valpo doesn't give up on that fight, was able to rotate topside. And you saw, I mean, the 4-man, 5-man collapse up there, especially with the Jinx ult. And then Syndra working with that wall. Insanely good. But now, I mean, Valpo, really, really great spot, right? AK gold lead. You have Baron. You have a couple of tier 2s. Or excuse me, a couple of tier 1s.
Soul coming up in 2 minutes. Valpo definitely in control right now. So
There's the
with
stun.
the last Baron, they were able to get a ton of turrets and a ton of pressure off the back of that Jinx reset. So looks like we're heading mid first. We got Syndra in that side lane. Alawi also going to side lane 1-3-1.
Yep. I mean, pretty basic stuff that we see. And Alistar is hunting down this Nautilus. There's the knockup as well. Gonna try and follow it up, but not, really having the damage. But
Oh my
Jakimbo
God.
just finishing
I don't
off
even know
the
if
Shen
the
top
ultimate
side.
was needed, but Shen
Yeah.
not
Oh, you have to be
doesn't
careful,
have a
though.
whole lot
Here
of gold.
comes Vayner on the side. Syndra does see that, though. Gets the stun
Oh.
off, and the WQ, it just one shot.
Okay,
You just can't walk
Kimbo.
up. Yep.
Kimbo
there-
is very ahead now.
Yep, there's the deserved pings from Anaya there for that Syndra. Jakimbo,
It just
Now-
happens out of like, where is this damage coming from?
yeah. I mean, I've talked to Jakimbo before about his Syndra. What he does is he picks up Rabadon second if he knows he can carry, and he
Yeah,
went
it's
Rabadon second
crazy.
this game, and that's
Vex a
what we're
little
seeing.
bit caught here.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
Vex is
my
down.
goodness.
And there's a kill for Dreadful. Dreadful is going to use this passive. I mean, you have 2 down on the side of
Anaya,
Hey.
meanwhile, been working
Yep.
away at this bot lane.
just working away at this tower. No wave, no problem. Just going to take it. And now, I mean, Jinx, if they get this inhibitor, I think they might just be able to end this.
Yep.
They are going to take this passive stack. Yeah, you just got to go shoot tower. You got to go get something going. And there's the tower shots as well. They're pushing this wave. Second tower almost going down. There's the hook in as well on Alawi. Alawi's going to force the back. There's the stun as well from Syndra. J4 jumping in. Going to have to Zanyas, though. Backing it back out. Maybe flashing. Flash Gore Drinker. But another hook from Nautilus. The disengage from Alistar. Another push as well. Syndra and the Alawi E. Shaking down that Sejuani. Dreadful picking up the final shot. Gonna use this passive stack to take that tower. And here comes the stacked up Jinx. Syndra working on that backside. There's a kill for Syndra, a kill for Jinx, a kill for Alawi, and then a double for Jinx, finishing off this game. And that's gonna be a quick, clean 2-0 for the side of Valpo against UMU. I mean, Henry, this is the best outcome for today for you. I feel like this is what you were looking for.
Yep.
So, I mean, always happy to deliver a win like that. We saw again another pretty great early lead from Malawi, but this game, I think one thing we didn't touch on too much was Vector had an insane game. I feel
Yeah.
like his pressure and the way he showed up for fights and the way he kind of moved around the lanes was definitely so much more impactful this game, and you could see it, right?
Yeah.
Like it felt like he was where he needed to be when he needed to be. We talked about as well how they dove that bot lane and you had Jakimbo TP down this time, pick up
Yeah.
that early double kill.
Yep.
Although you had a couple of mishaps, you saw just the scaling that was insane, and it's
Still leading in the damage department again. Over double, even triple, I think, on everyone on Mount Union.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of our guys. I'm really happy. This one was a big one for me.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get the win today. And
Mhm.
we are just one step closer to
Yep.
playoffs in Columbus.
One more game.
So last regular season game this Saturday against Bethel. I believe it's a morning game actually. It's like 11 or noon
Yep.
maybe. But we'll keep you guys updated. And hats off to Mount Union. But man, I'm feeling good. So I'm
You
happy.
should be. You should
Yeah.
be. But no, that's gonna be it for us in the booth here. I was your host, Dikembe. This is my co-host,
Henry Speedy Kill Ninja.
and we want to thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for all the chats, comments, all the watches, follows, and we will catch you guys at the start of the next stream. Go Valpo.